Story number 1. A dad has to be there for his daughter. A few minutes later I discovered what was happening. Someone was harassing not only her. Story number 2. Maybe give the bride her spotlight. That was when Emma displayed the last slide from her presentation. We request to not to skip video because no one like half stories. They are always fun if you read it to the end, before we start our story. If you are new on our channel, then click on subscribe button and click on bell icon and click on all for all notification and updates from our channel. Revenge story. A dad has to be there for his daughter. My daughter, who was about 8 at the time, was really into Minecraft, as most kids are these days, and wanted desperately to join the YouTube/Let's Play culture. I had installed some screen recording software that would let her make videos of the games she was playing so she could later upload them to YouTube. One day I'm minding my own business when I hear her quietly sniffling over on the computer. I asked her what was wrong, but she didn't want to tell me, so I let it go, but decided to keep an eye on her. A few minutes later I discovered what was happening. Someone was harassing not only her, but also all the other kids playing on whatever server she was on. Man, the internet is the worst. This kid, we'll call him Little SH Ted, or LS, was saying he was going to hack into her IP and steal all her info, swearing profusely. Remember, this is a game for kids, etc etc. By this time I had gotten my fiancé involved, and we realized that our daughter had been recording the entire incident, and a plan began to form. I started by googling LS's username. There were several hits immediately, the most interesting of which involved a page where he was publicly applying to be a mod for a server on Minecraft. I was able to learn a lot about this little boss. He claimed to be 15, likes hockey, used to live in Toronto but now lives in Florida. But the bombshell was easily his Skype contact info. It was literally first name dot last name. He left a bread trail that any angry dad could have uncovered. I head over to Facebook and search for the name. Nothing. On a hunch, I searched for just the last name, while narrowing my results to only the state of Florida. Several dozen hits. So I have to start combing through each one, until I find what I was looking for, a middle-aged man with the same last name, whose profile indicates he was born in Toronto and now lives in Florida. I found your dad, you little SHT. So I sent him a message on Facebook, asking if he had a son named first name who goes by his username on Minecraft. Dad confirmed I had the right guy. So my wife begins telling the dad everything that LS was saying to my daughter, and we sent him the recorded video as proof. Radio silence for a few days. Then we got the message back. Ellis had his computer taken away from him for the entire summer, and had also been lying about his age. He was only 11, I think. His parents were livid with him, and he surely hated the next few months of his life. Interesting story. Maybe give the bride her spotlight. Last summer I was at a cousin's wedding. His bride and her family had been close with ours since before I was born, and the couple had known each other since they were toddlers, so it was a particularly exciting event for both sides of the family. However, after the ceremony was over and the party had only just started, one of the bridesmaids decided to announce her own engagement. The attention was immediately taken away from the newlyweds and brought to the bridesmaid, who I'll call Sarah, and her equally smug fiancé. My cousin's wife, I'll call her Emma, didn't make a scene or utter a single negative word about Sarah. She looked like she was on the verge of tears, but she kept grinning and acted very happy for the other couple. This was unusual, as Emma is typically quite confrontational and speaks her mind no matter the consequences. You know it was bad if it even shut down Emma. Sarah later picked Emma to be the maid of honor at her own wedding, which took place last weekend. This is where the fun begins. Emma's two much younger sisters were the flower girls at Sarah's wedding. At the very last moment, Emma switched out the white petals in their baskets to blue ones she had secretly brought with her. She told her sisters not to say anything about it or let the bride see them until it was time to scatter them down the aisle. Sarah looked very confused upon seeing the blue petals, which didn't coordinate whatsoever with her theme, but of course she didn't say anything about it in the moment. Most of Sarah's other bridesmaids were also Emma's friends, who had attended Emma's wedding, and were in on Emma's scheme. At the reception, Emma's sisters and the other bridesmaids were tight-lipped when Sarah began demanding to know why there were blue petals. The wedding planner ended up getting a lot of abuse for not checking the flower girls' baskets before they walked down the aisle. The puzzle will soon be complete. Finally, it was time for the speeches. The speeches took place in front of a massive screen, displaying a loop of photos with Sarah and her husband, which had been compiled by Emma. Emma took the remote that controlled the presentation screen and at first she showed some pre-approved humorous photos of Sarah with Emma and other friends to facilitate a couple light-hearted jokes. Then, at the very end, Emma said to Sarah that she must be wondering why there were blue petals instead of the white ones originally planned. That was when Emma displayed the last slide from her presentation. Emma announced in front of everyone that she was 5 months pregnant, and that she just discovered the baby was a boy, hence the blue petals. The last slide? Her ultrasound picture. There were shocked yells and gasps. Sarah had a fit, but those involved in the scheme cheered so loudly that I sincerely regret watching the Snapchat recordings with headphones. Emma and my cousin were eventually thrown out of the party, but they were all smiles. Sarah's fuming mother went to confront her outside, and Emma retorted with, gentle, I'm pregnant." If you like our video, please like, share and subscribe our channel. And write and comment how was the video, or if you have any suggestion. Thank you for watching.